Greetings, weary traveler, come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and of course, tales of Tamriel. I'm your host, Arkhaniir, and I'm joined by the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the dedicated extra lecture, the streamer, Lotus of Doom. How's it going, Lotus?
It's going pretty well. I'm actually kind of hoping you don't hear all the fireworks going on in the background, because apparently the theme park that is like 8 miles from me is doing a Halloween thing where they're blowing up everything.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's one way to celebrate Halloween, yeah.
Yep, so all of a sudden that started literally as we began recording, so...
I mean, something has to try to sabotage us. I mean, it's the law of the universe. It's the law of the universe, and yeah, it's gotta happen. So far, though, I haven't heard anything. Like, I don't think your microphone is picking it up, so that is always
I do
good.
have my windows closed, so I'm hoping that it's not gonna... But it's like I can feel the vibration slightly, and Boots keeps looking up like, are we under siege? Should I be killing something? It's like...
Oh man, well, I mean, so far so good. And if it's there, I'll do something about it in the post process. Unless I forgot how to do all that in the last few months. Well, not last few months, but last few weeks.
Yeah,
as we haven't done this.
I think we've been in
I think a month and a half.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's either been a month and a half or time has been flowing at a different rate for me. I do not know. But yeah, we've been gone for a long time. I think it's actually been the longest hiatus the show has ever been on.
Yeah, with the possibility of when he had to redo all of the servers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe. Yeah, that might be.
I feel like that was a while too. Mm-hmm. Because that was rough when he had to redo everything from scratch, pretty much.
Yeah. So the reason why we've been gone for this long is, so starting from the first I got sick, and then I was like, okay, let's skip the show this week. And then the other week I was still recovering, and I was like, can you host? And he was like, I don't have my voice. It's completely gone because of, season change, allergies and things like that. So he was out of commission. Mm-hmm. And then once he recovered and I recovered, I started moving in with my brother and I, we rented a new place for both of us to move in. So we started dealing with that. And during that process, I got sick again. And then Ag got buried in work. And then throughout all the moving, like carrying the furniture, don't buy anything. If you buy anything from IKEA, by the way, pay for them to just put it together. It takes time and effort. Yeah. I do not recommend it. But so I had to deal with those. And then I didn't have my battle station set, so I couldn't record. And so one thing added to another, everything got chained together, and we ended up not having a show for quite a while. But here we are. We have returned. Although at a different time. We are recording this Saturday at 8:30 Eastern. Instead of Friday 9 p.m.
But a day late.
Yeah. We are exactly a day late. Well, not a day late. We are like 23 hours and 20 minutes late.
Usually we started about 9:30, and instead we're half an hour early for being one day late.
Yeah,
so it all works out, I think.
That should redeem all the lost time. I mean,
come on. Pretty much does it there.
That's how it works. That's how life works. So yeah, I mean, we decided not to skip a show. We were gonna record yesterday, but Ag was out, and he's out as during the weekends anyway. So since Ag was out anyway, and normally I am awake for about 20 hours by the time we record on a Friday night, I was like, Lotus, are you able to record tomorrow? And as soon as he said I was like, okay, I'm going.
Okay, I'm immediately going to bed.
So yeah, here we are, Saturday evening. with zero preparation in terms of a show.
Yeah, this one's going to be a little interesting, to say the least.
Yeah,
we'll just
yeah.
be... I hope you like casual and not that the show is super high, like rigid structure, but this will be probably a little more ad-lib than we usually do.
Mm-hmm. More improvised than it already is.
Right.
So, I mean, I have been away from gaming for throughout the last month. I've only started gaming again for like last week. So I've been away from everything that's been going on in general gaming life, except Destiny 2, which people are keeping me up to date, and I've been playing a little with my brother. But for Elder Scrolls Online, I don't know what is going on. So
that's all right. I can fill in, and we can make the best of this.
All right, so that works out. So what I'm gonna do instead is we are gonna go back in the news segment of Elder Scrolls Online's website and just go over the titles and talk about what we know. Basically, sort of like a catch-up thing for both myself and everyone who's been away from ESO as well. So that's the plan for our news segment. And yeah, anywhere that I don't know, Lotus will fill.
Yeah, I'll just fill into the best of my capabilities.
In that case, starting with this is actually I know about. So there's been an event going on in Elder Scrolls Online called Slay Dragons, Save Cats, which basically ZeniMax Online got to an agreement with 2 charities, and they are donating $1 for every 5 dragons killed in Elder Scrolls Online to 2 pet charities. I do not know their names though. I'm just opening the article.
Yeah, I don't remember the specific charities.
Best Friends Animal Society and 4 Paws International.
Okay.
And they'll be donating up to $200,000. And this will be going on for... I'm trying to catch the dates.
Mid or late December, actually. We have a decent amount of time. And...
So December 9th that I'm seeing.
December 9th? Okay.
Yes.
And as is, I don't know, does it have the exact number on there? Last I was aware, I believe we're over $60,000 already raised.
I remember a similar point from Twitter, but I don't remember the exact number. But we still have a long way to go, basically. But even at $60,000, it's like nice.
Yeah, which shows the overall dragon value at 20 cents a dragon. That's what their lives are worth to us.
I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
from an in-game dragon to saving a real-life cat. You know, I mean, I really don't care about Khajiits in the game, but Khajiits in real life, that's like, hey.
Real Khajiits are much better.
So that's been one event that's been going on. Along with, like, there's been also event tickets and stuff during the Dragon Rise event, which is what it's called. But it's the usual, like, do Elsewhere-related or zone-related activities and get event tickets. At this point, I feel like...
So...
It's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, it is. The one thing that I did kind of like about this one that was a little different is besides killing a dragon or a named enemy or something like that, there was supposedly a slim chance it could just drop period from anything you kill.
Oh, okay.
Which is confirmed because I poked something just randomly while I was trying to show a group where a world boss was. And I got my 2 event tickets from just killing some random terror bird. I was like, oh, cool, it really does work. So, yeah.
See, I like that better. Better.
Just
like, that's
a chance.
I prefer that.
If you want to just be in the region, you could also get credit for it, which I liked.
Yeah. So... There's also an event list, like event schedule up ahead that is announced up ahead, which is nice, so everyone can schedule for the events. So Dragon Rise is I think it's over now because it says 13th of 10th month, which
and
is...
it succeeded. I don't know if you can still collect your rewards from the store.
I logged in today, and I think it said 2 days left. So by the time this episode airs, it will probably be gone. But if you are listening to us live, you might still be able to get it. So what it basically is during Somerset, if you remember, they did an event which you had to discover all the points of interests. Yep. And as a community, it was a community progress. So even if it reaches 100%, even if you didn't participate it, which is me, you still get the reward. So I did log in today and get my rewards. But instead of a house today, this year, they gave a costume, a mount, I think. I'm not sure about the mount.
Yeah, there was dragon treasure for your house, which is just... That's kind of neat. And then we also got the...
pet?
And then the Nefargalarg, whatever, the dragon that was in Redguard, which somebody brought up. I've been saying that I need to clip it, and I haven't. In our wild speculation episode with me, you, and chatting with the chat room. That was the dragon that I mentioned. Might come back, and I would like to bring up the fact that in no way did he come back in any version that I said he would. Clearly, there's a whole bunch of new dragons, but we got those Nefargalarga whatever gift crates, and you can still get them in Zone, I believe, from just harvesting nodes or killing dragons and stuff like that. So I would just like to say that at least they acknowledged that he still exists.
We got something right in our...
We did.
I guess 5 years of doing this. Rather 5 years as a show, but I'm pretty sure Ag never got anything right in the past anyway, so it's fine.
Nailed it.
This is the one thing we got right.
And the big gift box, the kind of like... Russian doll thing where you open one and get a new one and open one and get a new one of the Nefarga boxes. There's some pretty good stuff in those. So if you haven't and hear this in time, make sure to get them. I mean, the other podcasts have been making note of don't forget to get your stuff. So hopefully you've followed suit. Because you get a test dummy for your house. You get 3 attunable crafting stations. You get a lot of good stuff in those crates.
Anytime there's an event you can actually benefit from, I miss it. It's
yeah. Well,
I'm not good with these.
Well, yeah. So those are definitely worth doing past tense, though, because, again, we're a little behind, but hopefully you guys got on that, so.
Well, it is what it is.
Yep.
So we are in October at the moment, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So from October 24 to... What is next month? November?
Thursday.
Yeah. So October 24 to November 3, there will be Witches Festival, obviously, since it's Halloween now. And from November 14 to November 17, which is just a 3-day window, it will be the Undaunted Celebration.
That's very weird that it's 3 days long.
But I mean, I think Undaunted Celebration events always been short compared to the other ones.
3 days seems really short, especially since they're overhauling the whole dungeon finder system.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, with Dragon.
You'd think they'd want to let it take some abuse for a while and see how it goes.
I think they don't trust it enough to,
or they're gun shy and like, just 3 days is fine.
From November 26 to December 8, Dawn of the Dragon Guard, which will be the, I think, release of Dragonhold DLC.
Yep.
So basically, fell dragons to earn bonus loot and earn double rewards from Ratstone DLC, Elster Chapter, Scalebreaker DLC, and Dragonhold DLC. So it will include all of the Season of the Dragon DLCs and stuff. in its reward loot things.
So if you haven't started, probably start then because you get extra crap.
Yeah. And from December 19 to the New Year, it will be New Life Festival. Which I wonder what kind of a cake we'll get this time. Like, is it going to be like a 5?
Oh no, that's the anniversary one.
Oh yeah, this is different. Yeah, right.
Yes,
that makes sense.
I assume it'll just be a cake with a smaller cake and another smaller cake, like it has been, because they just keep stacking it more excessively every time.
Sorry about that. That was my phone.
It's so festive. But yeah, so
that's the event list.
Yep. I do like that they gave us a little forewarning this time,
Yeah,
as opposed to just surprise. Next week is this event, which is what's kind of happened in the past. So I prefer this method of giving you a bit of a heads up.
Yep.
Going forward.
I mean, it allows like at least content creators to schedule or plan events and things like that, you know, with their community and things.
Plus the Q4, not maintenance, but how can I put it? Overhaul of their systems besides
quality
just
of
the
life.
Finder. Yeah, so they're working on all of that. So that'll be dropping too, which will be hopefully good and not problematic. I think that one's just frame rate repairs and stuff like that. But either way, any quality of life stuff I will certainly take.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can barely keep up with the content anyway, so
Yeah.
I if they never released a new DLC for like a year, I would be like, huh.
Cool,
Nice.
I'm still only a year behind.
Yeah, cool. I don't have to catch up with anything now. So the next bit of news is the Dragonhold Prologue quest is live on pretty much everywhere. Well, not pretty much. It is basically live everywhere. Yeah. So as usual, you can do the Prologue quest before the DLC or chapter to prepare for it and get a little bit of taste of it. I haven't done it yet, so I don't know how it is.
It's good. I won't spoil any of the story to it. It's not super long. Most people seem to really enjoy it. I thought it was good.
Okay, that's good.
The only thing I will say, which I guess if you don't even want to know how the game plays, which seems peculiar, this would technically be a spoiler. You get a grappling hook.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool. And I'm curious to see if they do more with it.
Okay. That's...
Yeah.
See,
so
of all the things I would imagine seeing in ESO, a grappling hook was not in them.
Yeah, so you haven't done Murkmire yet, have you?
Like maybe a couple quests.
Okay. Well, I guess it makes me curious. Have you encountered the thing where you can go from, if you throw a seed at a plant, it will like pull you around?
I haven't seen it, but
Okay.
I know about it because I remember you trying to get over like a gap in one of the dungeon
it just didn't work.
thingies.
It was just having none of it. So basically, it's a better version of that. If you find like these picket posts, if you find the line of sight to it, you fire it, and kind of like for anybody that's played The Legend of Zelda with the hook shot, you will slam the shot into it, and it will pull you across the gap. Unlike with the Murkmire one, I never had any issues with this. It worked really well and was super responsive. So I thought it was pretty neat.
I'm curious
if
now.
I'm curious if it's going to be a one-off or are they planning to do something more with it?
I hope so. I mean, it could be fun.
Yes,
there are some places in ESO that would give me an amazing screenshot view, but you just can't get up there. So if there's a grappling hook and I can get up to those places, I'll be happy.
Yes, but I liked it. I thought that was a neat addition to the game. So again, much better than what they started, I feel, in Murkmire, so that's fine with me. I won't go into the story, like I said, because it's not super long. I think I beat it in maybe a half an hour or so. And I think you get a memento at the end of it, like you tend to do.
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, but it obviously preps you for going to Southern Elsewhere and, you know, the whole Dragon Guard thing and all of that stuff. So it's just kind of, you're prepped for the final expansion, which I'm curious to see how the season ends. I liked this one continuous storyline.
I wonder if they're going to do another one like this, or they're going to be like, okay, well, maybe this didn't work well, and we are going to go back to our, like...
Sure, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the really long-spanning ones that went from essentially base game to Somerset prior to, with, you know, some side tangents, but that all was kind of leading for 4 years to one destination. So, you know, I like both, but it was kind of nice to have this condensed one as well for something different.
So to start this Dragonhold Prologue quest, you basically pick up the letter from Kasura, quest starter item from the in-game crown store, and then look for the Imperial Messenger in either Vulkelgard, Daggerfall City, or Davon's Watch, and that'll start your quest for the Prologue of Dragonhold or Dragon Guard. I don't know which. Yeah, either one of those things.
And so there is one thing, and again, I will save it for a later episode because it's been out for a while, but I don't want to. You haven't done it, and I don't want to spoil it for people who still haven't had a chance for it. The videos that we've all seen, some of which caused a decent amount of controversy over who might have been in one of those videos, that may or may not have had something to do with the main storyline and who you chose as a companion at the end.
Yes.
So I'm curious what you'll think because of that. Well, I don't even know. If
I might actually do it after the show.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you chose him or not.
No.
To begin with, okay. So, ironically, I did. I've mentioned that on the show before. I did because a lot of people were like, I don't know how why would you choose him? He's so cool. And that was exactly my reasoning, was because I chose him because I actually thought he was the coolest. And I wanted to be infused with the best option.
Right.
So I'm curious if they'll explain more. Because they said they would explain it?
Yeah, they did say that. So I'm curious what the explanation will be.
Yeah. I'm curious if there's more to it than what they do explain, is all I'll say. So...
Well, but when we get there, it'll be a nice discussion.
Yes, and that I'll leave it at that.
Aggelos to catch up.
Well, he's on Wrathstone Dungeons, right?
Yeah, we did one of them. So
right.
Instead of one episode, we did one of those.
Oh yes, I remember that. That was the week I was MIA.
Yeah, the episode that we never released because
the audio quality was on fire.
Well, audio quality was kind of on fire. It was like a test run as well, so we didn't know how to really structure it. And when I started editing it, I was like, okay, I actually can't figure out how to edit this in a way that it's not a mess. So normally editing an episode, like a normal episode without issues and the usual structure, takes me about 3 hours or something.
Okay.
I was like, okay, editing this will not be nice. So I just, it just stood there. If we ever do it again though, like a dungeon run instead of a show, now I know how to structure it. That we can turn it into a show. Yeah, it was
like our lost episode the last time me, you, and Nate did it, and it did not like us being on 3 continents.
Oh god, yeah, that was an absolute mess. I'm actually very sad that I never got to release it because Nate was on for in a long time, the first time in a long time, and I was very excited for that episode. And when I went
Him
to
and I
edit
got
it,
to talk Blades. I've never been on a show with him before. That was the first time we were on a show together.
so the live show was good, but
Yes.
the recorded version, and we weren't doing the Audacity. That's actually when we started doing local recordings. Because at the beginning of that show, Nate was like, "So do you guys do local recording? So should I start local recording?" And I was like, "No, we haven't done that yet." So it's like, okay, all right. And I guess connecting UK, Turkey, and United States into a single call was a mess, or it was just for that week, because we did that before and it wasn't all that bad. But that episode was like, there were cuts, there were robotics. It was a full-on mess, and for a long time too. So I was like, well, it's barely a show anymore.
Right. That's not worth having people even try to listen to. It's like
since then we've been recording locally, so even if everything goes to mess, there's at least some part of it that can be salvaged.
Yep.
So yeah. Also, I just realized Dragonhold DLC comes up tomorrow for PC. 21st of October. So I guess I'll
fancy. Well, 21st would be Tuesday or Monday? Monday.
Well, I mean, I'm on Sunday at the moment.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right.
It's 4 a.m. Sunday for me. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, so I take it back. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, yours is.
Please do not forget that I'm from the future, past man.
I keep forgetting. Will you just send me some lottery numbers, please? I really need those, and then I'll pay for us to get nice fancy equipment. And
ooh, that makes sense.
See,
we broke physics.
There's our dragon break.
And it'll be November 5 for Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Yep.
As usual, 2 weeks after.
Right. You guys get to beta test for us for 2 weeks. Yeah. Don't mess it up. I expect a polished product when it launches on my console.
So it also says unlock bonus gold in elsewhere. Should you complete Dragonhold Prologue quests during the Dragon Rise in-game event, now live until October 14th. So this is past. This is already gone.
So yes, it was a temporary buff to gold in the region, which shout out to Benevolent Bodhi, because he brought it to my attention, and as far as I know, to everybody's attention. If you did your writs in elsewhere as opposed to anywhere else, you would get $9,000 instead of the normal $4,500, because it applied to anything you did. So yeah, that was pretty awesome.
See, this is why I'm broke in ESO. I always see, there's an event like the event goes and the event passes, and someone is like, dude, I made millions in that event. Why? Because it dropped motifs.
This one thing. Yep.
Oh man, I missed. And I'm like, I'll catch the next event so I can make some gold. And here we are. As usual, I missed another gold making event, and I'm still broke. I'll never be rich in ESO.
If you ran multiple characters on writs, even if you were doing level 1 writs, every character was generating like $9,000 just from doing it.
Man.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, it's fine. It's fine. It's not like I've been playing much anyway, so it's all good. So the another article is Meet the Character Sai Sahan, which I'm gonna let Promethean read this next week. So I'm not gonna get into that now.
Yep.
And what is it? Explore a renewed southern elsewhere in Dragonhold is the title of this article. And it basically, I guess, outlines the Dragonhold DLC. It basically talks about what we are to expect from Dragonhold's zone. Not the mechanics and things like that, but from the zone. So I'm not gonna get into this in detail either at the moment.
We're going to Southern Elsewhere. Lots of plague.
There's an image though, and it looks nice. Like it has a bay and everything.
Yes. Well, there'll be kitty pirates. That's like the big highlight for a lot of people. because you'll have all the
It is.
the skooma smuggling trade down there. So, and if I'm not mistaken, because I know he's a huge fan of pirates and stuff like that, Jibs from Lore Seekers, I believe his life goal is to get the new title of pirate. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that working out. Dragon. Oh, one thing. I've been hearing that people are spotting dragons outside of the Elsewhere zone. Like in Davin's Watch and things like that. Have you actually seen that?
Yes. All right. So here's this is going to be kind of a weird tangent, but I want to get your opinion on this, and just if you have, some type of input and would like to send it to the show as well. I'm curious. I think I know what people's answers are, and that's fine. So I am not a lore stickler by any means.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the few things back when we were discussing it, because I know, Ag's a little more cut and dry when it comes to the lore. Don't. But the thing is, one of the things we said, it's okay, well, it still makes sense, and there's very little history of Elsewhere, and especially because we're during the interregnum, it's okay, it's not really documented, blah, blah, blah. As long as these dragons aren't just running amok everywhere, it really doesn't seem that out of context.
Yep.
The dragons are totally in every single zone now. They're just running amok everywhere.
Yeah. That's what I was coming to, actually. I mean, if this threat was contained to Elsewhere and
yes.
However, we are going to end it in Dragonhold. The threat was basically neutralized in time. I would be okay with, because the Imperial Archives got burned, sacked, and things like that a lot of time. I would be okay. I mean, it. So some weird Master Khajiit hid dragons to somewhere, and then Abnor and we just released it. It's fine. It can happen. It could have been lost in history. But now they're everywhere. So in Davin's Watch, Ebonheart, Mournhold, and things like that. And I was did no one write this down?
So there are a couple, like I said, that's a little weird, and that's kind of But on the flip side, this is clearly done for the charity event thing. It's to draw attention to the dragons. So it's for a good cause. In that case,
that makes sense.
That's what I mean. It's clearly drawing attention to all the dragon stuff, and it dropped with the Slay Dragons save Khajiit.
Oh, okay. See, that was a piece of data that I did not have.
Right.
Now I'm it's whatever.
That's why I'm kind of okay. Although in game, that's a little peculiar. On the flip side, I think that was kind of the idea behind it, is to draw attention to. So even if you're a lore snob, I'm okay with them cutting there's a good cause behind it. Fine.
I mean, to be honest, to bring attention to the charity event, if they brought Alduin and Dragonborn back at the same time with Hero of Quatch and
whatever goofy
Martin
stuff
Septim
you want to do
singing at the side, I'd be whatever. I mean, it's an event. It's a charity event. It's I don't care.
100%.
Whatever the lore can.
Exactly.
We'll just not accept it as canon, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. So there is that, which I'm whatever. It's just a point of note, just because it was something that a lot of people have kind of grown accustomed to, the fact that there's just dragons now. But so I just figured I'd mention that. However, also most people don't care, because the amount of people who have been super hyped about dragons floating around cities, and it's pretty neat because they are yelling, and a lot of the NPCs actually have reactions programmed on them.
Oh, that's nice.
So the Nords are yelling stuff out, which is funny, which I enjoy, just because some of their responses are pretty funny. But then the other thing, which I am convinced is true, and I guess we'll see when the Elder Scrolls Online eventually ends, but I'm convinced this entire game is a Dragon Break anyways in the Interregnum, because whoever I heard the theory from or wherever I read it from, where every character is just a single strand, so all it made like everyone's doing the main story, but how does that make any sense? We're all our own timelines that will eventually converge toward the end. That's how people are fighting for. I love that idea because that's super creative with their own wacky ass lore. So I just think that's pretty cool. And then in that case, whatever, you know what I mean? And in the grand scheme of things, whatever.
Within ESO's timeline and within the events of ESO, if we ignore the overall lore, so the massive, like the actual already written lore, and look at ESO as a separate, whether a Dragon Break or whatever, it makes sense that dragons are roaming around. I mean, it would be dumb that these flying creatures who could traverse the entire land of Tamriel within, I guess, either minutes or hours would be just hanging out in the borders of elsewhere and do not go anywhere else. So it's more immersive to see them in every zone than it is lore breaking. So
Right,
if
because
it's
they can
lore
traverse
breaking at a
anything.
scale of 1, it is more immersive at a scale of 2 kind of thing.
Sure. No, I agree with you. And that's the thing is like our only critique, which I do still say it's a little, it brings me to my main point of this. I'm curious if other people are still down with dragons type of thing or not, because just me personally, my only thing was when they first announced the dragon things and everybody was either bent out of shape or all in. I was kind of like, well, hopefully they don't just overdo this. That's been kind of my stance. With the end of the season of the dragon, I would be okay if we don't talk about dragons. Like, I'd be good with that being the end of this dragon threat. I get the feeling that's not the case, and that's fine. It doesn't ruin anything for me by any means.
I mean,
however, I'm kind of like, meh.
It's a gameplay mechanic now. Like, instead of world boss, now we have dragons. So that's what I'm curious about. Like, if with the Dragonhold DLC story, it's like, hey, we ended the dragon threat, and then you go out and there are 5 more dragons just flying by. And
dragons are flooding
you
all over
turn
elsewhere.
to
It's
like
wait,
main
what?
NPC like, I mean, what about these? And he's like, dude, those are gameplay mechanics. They don't exist. They're not there.
Exactly.
Don't ruin the mood.
So it's like, as is, we didn't, for it to kind of make sense, it seemed like you couldn't have. But at the flip side, I mean, this is a mass genocide of dragons to begin with. Because just for this event, we need to kill 1 million of them. And we've already killed 1 million of them. So we're putting down 2 million dragons already. It's like, we're way more
I knew it
extreme
was
than
going
the
to
satiety.
like that one way or the other. I mean, it's if you think about it, we are killing the same bosses over and over again. We are
course,
killing Moloch balls over and over again. Like,
totally just a mechanic. Like, that's a conceit of being a video game.
I mean, you can't look at an MMORPG like a single-player linear storyline game. An MMORPG needs repetition, even though I hate it. But that's because I don't like that. That's one of the reasons I don't like MMORPGs to begin with. MMORPGs are built on repetition because they need retention of users so that they can keep making money. And there is not a single studio out there that can create enough content that you don't need to repeat content. So it's gotta happen. It's gonna break the lore. I mean, in World of Warcraft, people stab Arthas. I don't know, for like 1 million times. It happens.
Yeah, and it's just kind of what you like, what you don't like. You don't need to like or. Well, I mean, if you dislike everything, you could not play the game. That's a pretty easy solution to that. But it's very unlikely that you're going to like literally everything in anything. Like, that's. that's weird if there's nothing that you're like, that's not really my thing. You know what I mean? Like
exactly, yeah. I mean, Destiny has been my main game, for example, for a little while now, and I love Destiny because it's a quick get in, shoot stuff, get out game. Like get in, do a couple matches, shoot a couple bosses in like an Unreal Tournament-esque pace, and I love it. But when it comes to its quests, oh my god, that game has the worst grind I've ever seen. Jesus, it's unbearable. But the core gameplay mechanic is fun, so I play it. But
the shooting's really good. But yeah, so that's all I figured I just felt that was worth bringing up because it was something that caused so much stir in the community as a whole. Earlier when they first went into it at that Twitch event. Yeah. So it's just worth mentioning. I'm curious what people as a whole think. Do you like dragons? Do you want more dragons? Do you want? I'm not even over them. I'm just kind of like, meh, okay. I'd rather them move on to something else. Like,
yeah. We've been talking about it for a year, so
right. Pirate Khajiit sound way more interesting than more dragons to me personally. Like, so that's all I was kind of making with that long-winded point.
And it was a good point. I mean, so it's just that I like discussing stuff that some people see that. Like in the community, whenever there's like a conflict like this or controversy, some people are like, "Oh, come on, why are we arguing?" Or, "Oh, come on, it's a game. Why are we arguing?" I love arguing. It's like that analogy, wrestling with a pig in the mud. After 5 hours, you realize the pig actually enjoys that. I'm like that. I enjoy a heated argument. Like I do almost like extremely heated arguments with my very close friends that if you were to look from outside, you would think we are about to beat each other. But it's we are just
I like well-articulated arguments, especially if people can like bring up a point I did not account for and change my mind. I was like, I didn't even think of that. That's something like totally outside of what I thought. Like, touche. That I'm even more impressed with. But like, even if we fundamentally disagree, actually, shout out to Toybox. Him and I have had like a couple just random discussions or whatever when we not really on the same side of things, but he just articulates what he's trying to say. And I'm like, whether I agree or disagree, it's like, oh, okay, no, I see what you're saying. Like, I gotcha. Like, that's fine. Like, it's just when people get so bent out of shape and it's just like, okay, well, being borderline incoherent doesn't solve anything.
Oh, yeah. It's not fun to argue when the other person is just screaming other than making a point, but...
Right, and if that's the thing is, are you... Are you making an argument and then also listening to a counter argument, or are you making an argument and then not paying attention while you formulate your next argument? Like that's the difference between healthy debate and being a mess.
So I guess that's the end of like a recap of things since our last episode.
Sounds about right.
I mean, apparently there's been new moon crown crates, but it's just crown crates.
Yeah, that's not my thing.
Dragonhold and Update 24 preview. I guess I think we've done that, or either we've done that, or it's all out there anywhere at this point. That.
I guess actually rewind for a second back to the crown crates, even though neither of us are specialists on crown crates, as I've literally never purchased one. I
just gift them to Ophelia Noir because if she gets an Apex out of it, she gives a giveaway to the community. So every now and then I'm like, get a crown crate, and I think she got 2 Apexes from the ones I sent, and like she either does like a crown giveaway or a torch bug or a pet giveaway. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let's do a giveaway, throw one, and if it happens, it happens.
Right.
I also did get the scale breaker or scale collar, whatever, Guar from one of my viewers'
Yeah.
Crown crate gift.
Yeah, you
I was
did.
like, I opened it and it turned all like glowed yellow and thing. I was like,
that was one of the ones I was on
I got
stream
the
for. I was
Apex
like,
and I opened it
Yep.
and it was like Guar and I was like, not like this.
Incorrect.
Everything but this. Why? It was a sad day.
Not the crates themselves, but you can get break stuff down. You get crown gems, blah blah blah. You also get it from watching Twitch streams and Ouroboros crates, which are basically just boxes of crown gems. I do know there's a mount, and the one thing that everybody seems to really be very fond of, but also very displeased about, from what I've heard in the community, is the pocket watcher. It's a little floaty watcher. So it's the little, the watcher is the eyeball thing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So you can get a little baby one as a pet, and he just hovers creepily. Mm-hmm. However, it's a crown gem exclusive for 300 crown gems.
Yeah, I've seen that.
People don't like those crown gem exclusives, and I get it, because then, again...
So it doesn't even drop from the crate. Is that it?
You have to just buy it with crown gems, meaning it's sort of RNG of how much.
It's like gamble to make
yes,
like gamble to get items that you already own
or don't want and can break down. Yeah,
like
which kind of obscures what the value of the thing is. So I understand why people don't like that. I'm
like if you're a new player, you don't have any collectibles yet, your chances of making 300 gems is
you would need to buy a lot of crown crates.
Nightmarish, yeah.
Yes, you would need a lot of crown crates, which again comes from the obscuring exactly what you need. Blah blah blah. Again, people are very willing to spend money on these things. That's probably not a great way to do it, especially because it doesn't seem like people like that.
Like, just make it drop from the crate as well. And
have it
if
be
someone
a
gets
chance
it,
from the crate.
just reduce the drop rate of it. Like, instead of being a normal pet, make it like at the same rate as an Apex mount, since it's almost the same gem amount.
I mean, in general, since I don't buy these things, or I'm also not a cosmetics person, really, I feel like I'm really not an a position of authority to speak on this. I'm just like, this is just what I've heard, because I have no idea. So hopefully they don't do that as much, especially with weird regulations coming to crown crate. Well, not crown crate specifically, but loot boxes. I assume if that gets really hard cracked down on, the crown crates would probably fall under. I don't know. I'm not sure how any of that works. But.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, some of I've worked for a mobile game company, and like gachas and loot boxes is like that's my day job basically.
Right. So that they're designed with that stuff in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love Blades and insist, if you would like to play Blades and you don't want to spend any money, you don't need to. It is not like a pay-to-win requirement by any means in Blades. However, there's 9,000 ways to give them money in that game. It definitely wants you to give them money. And there is a feature, like I had mentioned, I believe, back then, when I was like, there is also one feature where you can't do it on main quest, but for side quests, you can literally just pay them 80 cents to win the quest, which is the most pay-to-win thing I've ever heard of. But none of that crap is required, and I never felt that throttled. However, I bet a lot of people do, like, why does that need to be there? Why can't you just play the thing and optionally buy things on purpose? Like, why is everything distributed by random chance or gambling or whatever? It's like like you said, the gotcha mechanics.
Yeah. Honestly, I can no longer judge people who pay for it, because it pays my bills at the moment. So it's like I can no longer judge.
But you don't have to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
like,
just... And
please
also,
continue to pay for gacha
Right.
and loot boxes, otherwise I'd be out of jobs.
Well, and the thing is, like, wow, this is devolving into a loot box discussion. And all this,
tends to.
But yeah,
It's a fun topic to just discuss about.
Yeah. Well, and I tend to be on the camp which does not fit with the general gaming community. Although a lot of people buy them, it is definitely a thing to hate on them. Do I think they are good for video games? Nope.
No.
Do I think they're good
No.
as a business aspect? Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Do
yeah.
I think do I think they are scummy? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Am I opposed to them being in games? No, I think that's up to the game developer.
Depends on the rest of the game. Like in ESO, it's purely cosmetic. So even I mean, the first
that
time
I'm okay with.
I mean, long-time listeners probably still remember the episode of Crown Crate's release. We were not a family-friendly show that episode.
No, that one
we
was
had
a
to
little
put
more.
like an disclaimer at the beginning of that show.
Yeah.
And I even I was, because I love my cosmetics. Okay, it's fashion scrolls online for me. I don't really care about the gameplay. As long as I look good, as long as I look good, I don't really care. So I was super upset when the Crown Crates first came out, like super upset. But back then, the game didn't have as much collectibles or outfitting, like outfit styling and things like that, to make up for it. So now the game has like outfit styles, so you can actually mix and match different styles to make your own costume. There's a wide range of mounts and pets and things like that you can actually just outright pay for, and gather gems from, like, even gems weren't a thing back then, if I remember correctly.
They were not. That was later on.
Like, you just, I mean, I have a lot of gems just sitting because of, I mean, even when I'm not playing the game and I don't even have time to watch streams, I still get those Ouroboros Crown Crates because I like open a stream, say hello to a streamer I like, and then go on about my business. And a couple hours later, I get an email like code redemption. I'm like, what? Where did I get this from? So now I'm like, okay, I mean, it can still be better, but it's not like when it first came out, where it was very restricting for things you would want. Now I just save up my gems, and whenever there's like a very good Apex that I'm like, I want this. I just use my gems and go on about my day.
That's why I'm hoping it retroactively gives you your Crown Crates. The Ouroboros crates from streams, because I think I'm one shy of 50 because I've never been able to redeem them because console. But but it keeps backlogging. So my Twitch is like, you have more crap, here's some more Ouroboros. Don't forget to link your things. Well, now it's linkable on their site because it's coming. So I'm like, wait, so are those all just gonna dump into my inventory and be like, here you go? Now, the reason I hope so, because again, I don't know what I would buy with them, because I don't really look in there too much. Can I gift stuff from there? Do you know if you can gift stuff with
from
gems?
the gem store? No.
Because if I can't, damn it. Because I was going to say, if I can,
maybe
we could do giveaways, and I will give away all my crown gems and buy people stuff. Because again, I
gotta look at it. I never checked.
Pick one thing. I still wear glass armor with an ebony helmet and a Stalrim weapon and an Ebonheart packed shield. Since those things were available, I still ride.
Quite honestly, your armor setup is ugly. By the way, I don't like it.
How dare you?
Glass armor. The glass armor is ugly.
Oh, I love the glass, especially the glass heavy armor. Oh man.
No.
Oh, it makes me so pleased.
No, it looks fragile.
How dare you? What else is there? And I still got my Betty Netch, which I believe was the first set of pets that was ever put in the game. Just the floating Netch. And
maybe
then
I don't know. I don't remember.
Chat. I saw you. How dare you support Ark? And then What else was there? Oh, and my guar, my like banded guar.
Oh,
that was
God,
like the
jeez.
first mount you could buy in the game. That's it. I've never changed those. Periodically, I'll put on something else just to be funny that the game's given me for free. And I got a Dwemer spider for PvP because people find it ridiculous. But that's like, I don't really change it around unless people ask me to on stream or something like that. I'm bad at Fashion Scrolls Endgame.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Yeah, I gotta work on my skills.
Just, dude, you gotta get good at your fashion.
I know I'm bad at my fashions.
There's, by the way, one article that I read this and I wanted to talk about it like 4 weeks ago, when we started not being able to do a show. The developer deep dive article about the class identity. Now, it's been almost a month since I last read this, but from what I remember, it's about how they want to actually. How much? So it's been an hour. Do you have any tales, Lotus?
I not as detailed just because things have kind of been lost in the shuffle. I've got a couple things that, since people like listening to failure, I've got a couple things of failure I can toss in, but nothing super involved.
Okay, well, let's do tales then, because I mean it's a long article. I was like,
Okay.
should I read this? But then it's a long article and it's been a month since it's written. So at this point, I assume people who care about it would already know about it.
Sure.
But if you want us to discuss this in detail, like what we think about it, let us know either on Twitter, YouTube, Discord, wherever you want. We can do that next week with the full crew, hopefully full crew. And talk more in depth about it, what we think about it and things like that. Because it's 4:30 a.m. and we are an hour into a show that was not prepared at all. And Lotus has tales apparently. So
So I have nothing typed in the notes. This is all from. I was about to say
it's fine.
I make random notes in my phone, just like as I play, so that I can reference point. Except since it's been like a month and a half, it is a jumbled mess of me doing the Aldmeri Dominion story more.
Okay, you are no longer allowed to do tales since I heard that.
That's all right. Most of them involve me at least attempting to kill a decent amount of them.
Okay, all right. You can
so
proceed.
Mild AD spoilers. I guess actually not so much mild at a couple points. I mean,
no one should care about AD spoilers.
Right.
Especially since it's base game content.
Yeah.
But more so that it's about Altmers and who cares.
Right. I've been so I've been digging more through that. It's steadily going. Anytime I get the option to kill people in the AD or cause dissent, that's just what I've been doing, which it's pretty funny. Storyline's actually not too shabby. It's much more contiguous going through the Aldmeri Dominion than like Daggerfall. It was, how can I put this? Each region was not specific to each other, but there was like some overarching, but then it took a little while to each region kind of was almost independent, but had ties to the main storyline, I guess I would say. The Ebonheart Pact was really disjointed, with like it tied up at the end kind of thing. But like some of the zones were just totally like Black Marsh for like that borderline had nothing to do. Like you didn't even meet the Skald King until the last two zones. You know what I mean? This, you meet Aren, and then you're dealing with her trying to get to power and fix the Dominion to basically lay siege, which I'm kind of trying to sabotage as best I can, as much as the story allows, which sometimes they're actually pretty generous with like letting you kill people. That it's like, oh, you could help this person, or I guess you could just kill them. I'm like, fantastic, kill them. But so I guess I'm playing the evil playthrough of that. But yeah,
I mean, killing an Altmer is
evil in
actually
quotes,
a mercy towards the Altmer because they no longer have to be living as an Altmer because they'll be dead, and no one should be living as an Altmer. So
to be fair,
when you kill an Altmer, you are actually doing good.
So But yeah, so I've been going through that. I've just made it to Malabator is where I am currently for those who have done gold content or started in the AD. Or I guess theoretically could also be their silver content. What do you call it? So I'm actually getting pretty far along in the storyline. I put down, there's a lot of necromancy stuff. I had mentioned Naaman, which is Aren's brother.
Aren has a brother.
She does. And here's your spoiler warnings in case you are curious about the AD or don't want anything spoiled. Just skip like maybe a minute or two. I'll make it brief. So yeah, he dies because he's a traitor to her and tries to usurp the throne. It gets him killed.
Right.
And then they go to bury him because she wants to she doesn't want to sully his name because he's still royalty. So she's like, we're going to lie about it. We're going to bury him. We're going to say he died heroically. And they're like, oh, all right. And then a bunch of necromancers get him from the Veiled Inheritance, which is a coup group trying to basically undermine her claim. They bring him back as a lich. And then you have to go kill him again.
Nice. I mean, killing an Ultimate twice.
So he's super dead now. Yeah. So that's the end of your spoilers. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, so there's that. Some of the side quests are kind of neat. I had mentioned the Wilder King. There's actually a sea fight, which is kind of interesting, where you're fighting sea serpents and you're on boats out in the ocean. They're not moving, but like you have the ballistae on the boats. And you have to aim them and shoot at the sea serpents. That was a pretty neat section. I don't think I had discussed that before.
You know what? ESO could mechanically, with the current siege equipment's firing and aiming style, ESO could theoretically bring in ship-to-ship battles. Just make a moving platform, make it look like a ship, and you try to aim ballistas and mangonels from ship towards the other ship, and you gotta aim it like where it's going and things like that. Could work.
So that I thought was pretty creative. And then I guess the only two things that I will mention that people can enjoy my failures instead of my successes. So I've been running dungeons and doing some different gear sets and stuff like that and just messing around. Really, I love the new dungeon, the new tanking set from Sunspire, the Claw of Eulacrin. It's so good.
I'll have to bring it up.
You can get just a normal version of it, doing it on normal, and then if you do it on vet, you can get the perfected. I've only done vet once, and I had terrible luck, and I just got a bunch of stuff that wasn't for my class, and nobody wanted to trade. So I don't have any perfected
health,
pieces.
Minor Aegis, maximum stamina. When you taunt an enemy, you give yourself an 11 group members minor courage for 15 seconds, increasing your weapon damage and spell damage by 129. Okay.
Yep. So you take 5% less damage from arenas, dungeons, and trials. You get the health buff, and you give your team damage buffs just by doing your job as a tank.
See, I like Powerful Assault better, but not for trials. So Powerful Assault actually gives 164 weapon damage every time you use a assault ability, which is Vigor, which is we are using all the time. But it's only 3 allies within 10 meters instead of
it's a dungeon or arena based.
Dungeon versus raid kind of thing.
Right, and this is just kind of an all-purpose one. Powerful Assault's another very good set, so I won't say that that's not. It's just I love this set because
there's another thing though. Powerful Assault and this will stack.
Oh.
Because Powerful Assault doesn't give a named bonus. It just
it doesn't have a name
plain,
on it? Oh, I didn't
plain stat.
that.
It's just 164 damage. And Claw of Nakrin is minor carriage. So they will stack on top of each other.
Oh, so those could stack. All right. Well, then there you go. I haven't stacked those together. So either way, I love that set. I'm a big fan of that set. And I've been, messing with that and trying to find good mixes for things. Because, I mean, Eben got a mild nerf, which generally doesn't matter when you're doing whatever. It's a flat 1,000 to the team now. So it went down a couple hundred hit points.
I think it was like 1,209.
Yeah, it was like 12 something. It's just a little one. But if people are trying to stay alive or having a tough time staying alive or just inexperienced with stuff, I'm happy to run it. But recently, I had a Black Rose Prison run. As I've mentioned, that I'm not the biggest fan of Black Rose Prison. It is very difficult. Or at least I find
breaker.
Yeah, it requires a lot of damage from your team. And the mechanics are actually pretty simplistic. It's very clustery. I'll keep that PG. It's very clustery for a thing because it's a lot of weaving and just avoiding stuff. It's not, at least in my experience, puggable is my problem. At least on Vet.
Right.
It's pretty rough, specifically because Arena 2 and more so Arena 4, which you fight the first 3 arena bosses back to back to back to back. Yeah. So it's very stack and burn heavy. But I find, Plague Doctor, Yolakrin, and like Stone Shaper or something like that is great. If you can just pull everybody to the middle, if they have enough damage, they can just melt it. If you can just sustain. But what I will bring up is, I'm not mentioning any names because I am friends with these people, and they know that I was not pleased at the end of this. But however, it's just kind of a funny story, and it is what it is. So we spent 3 hours in Black Rose Prison, running a vet run on Black Rose Prison, and usually I don't have actual meltdowns. They're more joking that if I'm pissed. If I actually get angry at a video game, I stop playing it because it's a game. So this was one of the events where I actually developed a Twitch and signed out because I was so angry in real life. We made it to the end, meaning we got past all of the difficult crap in the Black Rose Prison on Vet. And people had not cleared it yet, so that was fine. We were going to skin some people. I was like, maybe I'll get a crappy piece of this the Honor Guard, I think it might be called, the style that I can't seem to get any pages of. It's whatever. It's just because I'm a completionist. I figured maybe I'll try to grab it. We beat all that stuff. 3 hours in. We're on the final boss of the final arena. That's all we've got left. The dude's got 12 million hit points. He is not difficult. Like, he's not easy, but he is leagues easier than everything we have done going up to this point. And for some reason, it just wasn't working. At one point, one of the people couldn't see the AoE on the ground. It like wasn't showing up. Like it's not that I don't believe them.
You started having the final fight bugs.
So
every dungeon,
right? So that's not their fault. But then like they changed their colors and it made it show back up or something like that. I forget how exactly they fixed it. And what it is kind of like Maelstrom Arena. You have to grab these ghosts and cleanse to prevent an explosion. I'm not going to explain the whole mechanics. They read a guide from people far better than myself at explaining it. But just if you can get to this point, you have no reason to not complete it. It is easier than everything prior to it. And we were right at the cusp, and we got it down to 22% health, and we wiped because somebody missed grabbing their ghost, and I'm like, whatever. And the group universally decides, that's just it. We're done. I guess we can't do it. I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, I don't think we can do it. I was like, we beat all the hard stuff. We absolutely can do it. There's nothing. We beat all the stuff that's difficult. We're at the second easiest boss fight in the entire freaking arena. We do it a couple more times. We continually get him sub 1/3 health. They decide, that's it. No, it's too difficult. I'm like, no, it's not. We've beaten the hard part. They disbanded the group.
No. But here's the thing. You think you've beaten the hard part of the dungeon.
Well,
you got it wrong. The hard part of the dungeon beat you by the time you reached the final boss.
So
Black Rose Prison is a hard endurance dungeon. It's a solid endurance arena. Like, it tests your mental health.
Which is, I think, what happened.
Your endurance. Yeah.
So the thing was, when they were like, we're done, right? I'm like, okay. So they quit. And when I said they disbanded the group, I mean both DPS dropped and the healer dropped. So the group at that point is not a group because one person isn't a group.
Yeah.
So it closes the instance. So I cannot find 3 people to replace them so I can finish it. And I'm ejected too, even though I was like, there's no reason we're not beating this. So I also did not beat it on that run and was kicked out. And I was very, very angry.
Black Rose is the only dungeon, or rather only content in the game that we didn't go back to with our A team as Ophelia Noir's Drunkenborns.
I remember you saying that, because didn't you guys run into the Netch fight with Arena 2? Was that where you guys were
final part of Arena 2, where
which
there's
is
like arrows, Netches, Hajmota, everything.
The swarm of beetle, the swarm of Fletcher fly. Yeah. That fight is definitely, I would say that's the second hardest thing in the dungeon or arena. The only thing I found harder is the fourth, where you have to fight that one in the middle of the other 2. The one before it with the fire mage, you have to fight her and him and summoning all his crap, and then the vampire boss following that one. You just fight that in a giant mess. But yeah, so that was infuriating. And I don't believe I played
there should be a game
mechanic.
Like, ZOS really should add something like, if your entire group disbands, it should let you, like, if the dungeon is not finished, it should give you, like, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Right, I know, and it's a very small time. Well, and that's the thing, is like, you as long as there's 2 of you, you can replace people. But when 3 of 4 people bail, that one person is like, well, nope, you're in an instance by yourself. So it's like, no,
it gives you 30 seconds before it kicks you out. What can you, like, quickly invite someone into group within that 30 seconds, I wonder?
You very well could have, and I might have just duffed on that one. Because my biggest problem is most of the time when I type in my guilds, even some of my trials guilds, when I'm like, yo, anyone want to do Black Rose Prison? People are like, no, I'm not touching that place. It was like, it has such a stigma to it. And don't get me wrong, it is difficult. It is. It has very heavy burn requirements, I feel, which is what really makes it
and
difficult.
Heavy survival as well. Like, and
heavy survival as well. It's not even super mechanics heavy. It just really tests your damage and survivability. So yeah, it was very frustrating, and that was one of the few scenarios where I think I took a couple days off gaming after that one, because I was like, grr. So there was that, and I was telling you about it before the show. A couple of the people who are my healers are in chat. Again, I'm not tapping on anybody, but they've been here for most of my failures of this. I have now run, I think on my last tally is 11. 11 attempts at no death, the Imperial City Prison. And it's just not happening. I don't know why I can't get that dungeon for a no death. Like, I have substantially harder dungeons than that no death, but I don't have that one no death for whatever reason. And most of them are like comically tragic. Earlier, we had one of our DPSs behind the harvesters, which roll that blue death flame in front of you, and it does crazy damage to DPS. You don't ever want to be standing in front of that. However, little pro failure tip, the AoE does not spawn in front of a harvester. It spawns at the back of its tail. So if you're too close, say you're a Magica Dragon Knight or something, if you're touching its tail, the AoE will drop and roll forward, which counts as hitting you, even though you're behind the creature. And it will totally one-shot you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's been 11 straight failures of that. So if you want advice on how to not do stuff, recently you can check out how I do things and just do the opposite of what I'm doing, and you probably have pretty massive success.
See, it's still better than botching a no-death run of City of Ash back when it was the hardest dungeon of the game. Because you ran off the bridge before it actually animated into becoming a bridge. Yeah.
So that's one. I know he listens to the podcast sometimes, and several people in chat right now I know him. Shout out to our friend Psych. When he was like, okay, let's just skip these ads, and jumped off the tree in City of Ash 2, which killed him. And that was our only death for the entire dungeon.
Oh, man. Well, glad I'm not the only one who's doing these kind of things.
No. Not at all. But yeah, so that's been my abject failure with Lotus of Doom since the last show. And yeah, I think that covers most of my tales. I think is
all right. Well, that was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't touched the ESO, so I don't have tales.
I was gonna say I've cleared plenty of dungeons. Those just aren't interesting.
I mean, hopefully with Dragonhold coming tomorrow or the next day for anyone who's living in the past, I'll be getting back into ESO as well.
And definitely, like I said, do that prologue. It's short, which is perfect. You'll have
I'll definitely
no trouble going right through, and it's not difficult by any means. Because you've mentioned it before. Everything Overland quest wise is so non-threatening.
Yes,
it's very much that. It's solely for story content, and I'm curious what you'll think once you do it. Well, I guess character in question won't really relate to your story, but I'm just curious to see what you think.
Well, I'll at least be able to talk to you about it without spoilers, because I'm curious. Because the dialogue changes in ESO based on how you met people in the past, or whether if you met them in the past and things like that.
They do a good job with it.
Yeah. Like Darian from Somerset.
Oh my God, yes.
I never did the main story in European Mega Server. I basically power leveled. But when I first went into Somerset and saw Darian, I basically abandoned the quest so I could restart it, went ahead, completed the main story again, then got back to Somerset so I could have the conversations. And it was worth it. It was actually worth it. Did cost me a lot of time, but
meh.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anything else you got?
I think that pretty much is a decent enough recap since the last time we've recorded without belaboring too many points.
Hopefully, we'll be back on our usual schedule consistently again, starting next week, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully is being the keyword because...
Yes. Ideally, nothing explodes or...
Yeah. You don't get allergies, you don't get sick, which is very easy to get sick these days because, God, everyone is sick. The reason I got sick was because there was a dude at the office who was sick, and because our office is like at a, I don't know what you would call it, tall building, skyscraper, something like that, tower.
Yeah.
there are no windows. So it's a closed air conditioning system.
Oh, yeah.
Central air conditioning system. So someone gets sick, and the system is like, take it, everyone. And so, yeah, I got it as well eventually.
Oh, yeah. No, I was sick all of last week. So, yep.
All right. Before we do the outro, talk about Extra Life and what's coming.
All right.
I'm gonna make you do it every episode until it actually happens.
Well, we're getting close. So
yeah.
There plans to the exact nature of what we're doing. The other podcasts have now mentioned it, so we will also mention it. Hi, Boots. So what we're doing is we are having an Extra Life kind of podcast competition. Again, details are being finalized on what exactly we want to do, but I'm quite happy to see both the Lore Seekers as well as the UESP podcast, which if you don't listen to them, check them out as well. They're like 30 episodes in at this point. Another excellent podcast.
Time flies. Jeez.
Yes. Well, and my big thing was I was just happy that they are now recorded on and like on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever they've decided to name that service at this point. It's just the Apple one. But yeah, so each of the podcasts is now trying to raise money, excuse me, for Extra Life. And we are having a competition to see who can raise the most. As many of you probably know, I've done Extra Life for quite a while. This is my 7th year, I believe. Ooh. And this year, it's kind of de facto turning my page into, I'm actually re-editing it a little bit so that I'll kind of be my page, but at the same time, I will also kind of be the de facto Dungeon Crawler Network page so that we can work together for it. And
basically, we are cheating with Lotus.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And what do you call it? I know the Lore Seekers have theirs, and USB has their own. From what I understand, the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages will be running their event sometime in December, unless that changes. They'll listen to them. They'll update you on that. The Lore Seekers are on official game day of November 2nd. And we are tentatively looking at, since people have been asking, it looks like, don't tell me I have a low power phone, we are doing it on November 23rd is the idea. And we're finalizing our own thing, but at the moment, the current plan is that Arkhaniir and I will be kind of co-oping the marathon. So instead of me just doing the standard 24-hour thing that I've done every year prior, which many of you have come by and supported me for, we are going to relay it and do it for even longer so that it's a little less abuse to me personally, but a little more abuse to us as a team. So the idea is that I will start streaming the Extra Life Marathon at 6 a.m. Eastern on November 23rd. And I will stream for 20 hours straight. Most likely, based on what people chime in and join me for, it will probably be Elder Scrolls stuff for the majority of it, if not all of it, like it tends to devolve into once we get going. And then at the 20-hour mark, I will then relay my stream over to Arkhaniir, who will pick it up and continue all the way up until the idea is 30 hours. So ideally, Tales of Tamriel will have a 30-hour marathon instead of the standard 24, and Ark and I will be doing what we can to make that work.
And if I manage to take Monday off of work, then it might go longer and longer, but we'll see about that.
See how long we can stretch it into. But the current goal is to do, instead of a 24-hour marathon, which has become more standard, we'll see if we can, as a podcast, do at least a 30-hour marathon in a weekend, and hopefully raise some money for this excellent cause, which is the Children's Miracle Network. which provides medical attention and research for various things to kids who basically can't, well, kids and families who can't afford it. It is an awesome cause. If you would like to donate, we have links. You can go to my personal Twitter. I've got mine. We can retweet it, or we can put it out from Dungeon Crawler as well, because now it's kind of like a community thing. I mean, you guys helped me with it before I was ever on the show or anything. So, but yes, so everything that goes to it is entirely given to the hospitals, as I've been in contact with the hospitals themselves, like the people who work there, and I have firsthand knowledge that it is very much on the up and up. So it's also a tax write-off, if that's anything for people, since it is 100% to charity. It is write-offable, which is another benefit to many. But hopefully you guys will be able to drop by and give us a hand, and we can raise some money for kids.
There you go, people. It'll happen this year, as it has been happening in the past years, and it will continue to happen for years to come. So every time, all the time, keep your eye out for the Extra Life charity streams, because at first I didn't really know what it was, but the first time I heard about it, I was like, 24-hour stream, all right, I like that. And I think it was TES Fangirl that I sat and watched for like 24 hours straight, being in chat, trolling and everything. And it's usually very fun as well, because the streamers get sleep deprived to the point that they are fully drunk without any alcohol.
It is amazing how hard it is to sit still and play a video game for basically anything more than like 12 hours. You start really noticing how long you've been sitting in one place doing the same thing.
So it's usually very silly fun as well, in addition to doing something really good that matters, instead of just sitting down and playing games for 24 hours. So be there, I'll be there. I'll probably be there for Lotus's own stream as well, for the most part. And then I'll probably sleep for the night, because I'm like 7-8 hours ahead. And then I'll just wake up and take the charge, and we'll go from there.
You can take the reins, and then I'll probably be sleep deprived laying in bed and just kind of be able to chat with people until I black out on my keyboard.
Are you going to have your LAN party set up as well this year?
That's the idea. Usually, that is one thing for anybody who has not ever joined me for an Extra Life stream. I am by no means a big streamer or anything. I stream when I have time to, and my setup's usually pretty ghetto. Slobs works as of today after installing all of my drivers over again. So I had a stream this morning that actually went well. It worked. It's fantastic. Yay. But for the marathon, I tend to have other Extra Life people from my charity team, which is a separate thing, which we're not going to count their funds into this. This is a podcast only thing, because that would be an unfair advantage as being part of one of the Extra Life official teams, and adding their score in is kind of, that seems like cheating. But some of my other team members usually come by, and we basically set it up and have a big LAN party. And I just redirect my video camera so that you can, it's more or less like you're just joining us for us having a LAN party, playing video games and raising money for charity. So it's usually pretty fun. It's definitely pretty ridiculous, especially as we get tired. And we've had people do, we've had people donate stuff to have us do stupid challenges. A couple of years ago, somebody dropped like $50 for us to, on the fly with the people in group, I forget what we had equipped. It was like some half thing. We had to just what we were wearing with our group, which I actually don't think was a full dungeon team, go do VDSA. And I actually think it was 2 tanks and 2 damage dealers. We were like, we don't have a healer. So we had to fudge it. And it was a mess, because we were like, oh my God, some things we don't need any tank. And other situations we definitely need to have more damage, like the final arena, VDSA. More damage is good. 2 tanks is useless. So, we'll do stuff like that when people do that. Zoss has helped out in the past. I actually will try to contact them to see if we can get some goodies that we can donate to people helping out. I'll see if I can get some stuff we can give away in chat or whatever, be it physical swagginess or digital stuff. I'll see what I can do as I get stuff. I'll update you guys. But so that's the overview. We do have a definitive date and idea at this point, and we'll just keep filling you in with more details as time gets close.
Yep. Also, I just want to mention one thing. Throughout this episode, Discord hasn't failed us once in terms of either robotic audio or cutting out. Guess which server we are in? Which region we are in?
Oh, I didn't even look.
It's Russia.
Russia? We're in Russia.
The solution,
That's the server that's
the solution the entire time was Russia. I don't know why, but this call has been flawless so far. We've been in the Russian server.
How did we end up in a Russian region server?
I've got absolutely no idea, but like we
out
tried
of all choices.
We tried Central Europe, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the ocean.
Right?
It was Russia all along.
So does this also mean that now this podcast, much like the Blizzard fiasco, we're going to get our own one? we're secretly communists or something bizarre because I'm kind of glad you brought that up because I don't think I would have noticed that. But
yeah,
okay, so the
I noticed it and I was like, okay, maybe what changed? Which server are we in? Like, I was wondering, and I did not expect to see Russia there. I mean, why is it? I don't know.
Sure.
But there you go. The best way to connect United States and Turkey goes through Russia.
Korean plants. I love how everybody's just like bringing up the fact that we're apparently secret communists because of this. So we've got that going for us. All right. Just out of all choices, that seems like literally one of the last ones that would have been made, as neither of us does that relate to.
Well, somehow it works.
Yep. Hey, whatever, I guess. All right. Sure.
All right. Well, so that brings us to the end of the show.
Yes.
Now it's starting to. Now you just went robotic. We jinxed it.
See, we brought it up. That was what it is.
We burned the secret, and now they are trying to cover their tracks. Like.
Yep. No. You guys.
Oh no! They figured out our perfect server. Yeah. The secret is out. We gotta cover it up.
Nailed it.
Anyway, you can follow everything we do over at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork if you want to help support the show, and consider leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes it matters. Thank you all so very much for joining on this episode, which was out of time and out of schedule, but we are back, and we will see you next week, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the same place. Or you will wait for the recorded and edited version. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magic effused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong, then wild elves elves cut and polished it down to chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.